Hi friend, welcome back to the channel where we focus less on trying and more on being the best version of ourselves. In today's video, we are going to talk about SATS. I'm gonna give you a step-by-step guide straight from the horse's mouth, which would be one Neville Goddard. And we're also gonna talk about what to do if you can't visualize or you have trouble sustaining your attention when you're doing your imaginal act. So to start off, I'm gonna read a quote by Neville that kind of summarizes SATS as a whole, and then we're gonna go back and break it down step by step so that it's easy for you to understand and easy for you to execute. And then we'll move on to the alternative method, which will give you just as good of results. So to summarize the SATS technique in Neville's words, here's his quote: "With your eyes closed and your physical body immobilized, induce a state akin to sleep and enter into the action as though you were an actor playing the part. Experience in imagination what you would experience in the flesh, were you now in possession of your objective. Make elsewhere here and then now. And the greater you, using a larger focus, will use all means and call them good, which tend toward the production of that which you have assumed. You are relieved of all responsibility to make it so, because as you imagine and feel that it is so, your dimensionally larger self determines the means." First off, the state akin to sleep. So, the state akin to sleep is what the SATS acronym stands for. Most of us know what it means by now, so we just call it SATS. So a state akin to sleep is a drowsy, relaxed state, like when you're falling asleep or when you're waking up in the morning, or when you're doing some deep level of relaxation, like deep meditation, hypnosis, or any kind of autopilot activity where your subconscious mind is taking control more and your automatic mechanism is working for you more than your conscious mind is dictating to you what to do. You're kind of just rolling with it. So deep levels of focus, deep levels of relaxation, those are your SAT states. If you look at a chart, I can probably pull one up right here for you. And those are the times when your subconscious mind is much more open and much more susceptible to being impressed. So that's why a lot of people use a state akin to sleep or a deeply relaxed state in order to do their affirmations or do their methods, because it is much easier to impress the subconscious mind when it is primed and ready to be programmed. And in this quote, when Neville talks about the greater you, this is infinite intelligence. This is pure conscious awareness, that source energy that we have the little divine spark of inside of us, what allows us to create through the imaginal act. When you're working in tandem with infinite intelligence, it's pretty much a direct through line. The lovely thing about that is that you don't even have to fill in the things in the middle. You just live in the end, and infinite intelligence takes care of the rest. So let's go ahead and break it down step by step so that you can understand the process in a practical way and so that you can start implementing these steps tonight. So the first step in order to manifest anything is you have to get clear about what you want. You have to name your desire. We already know that anything you desire is okay, which is why it's always good to go with the feeling, that feeling of fulfillment, the feeling of being whole and complete and everything turning out the way that you want. Because when you tap into the deeper root cause, all the other things that come with that will also effortlessly come into your experience. Whatever it is, name it and claim it. You need to understand that you are totally and utterly worthy of accepting this experience, of having this experience, and you need to get comfortable being the person living out this reality, because the more natural the idea is to you, the easier it will be to impress your subconscious mind. Once you've decided what you want and you've decided that you are the person who's capable of having it, you need to conjure up a scene in your head that is following the fulfillment of the event. Whatever the scene is, it just needs to imply that the desire has already been fulfilled. You don't need to imagine the series of events coming up to your desire being fulfilled. You just need to imagine the end. It's already done. It could be literally that exact scene happening in that moment, or it could be a scene implying that it already happened in the past. But it's important when you're visualizing the scene that you are putting yourself in the experience. Think about it not like you are sitting in a movie theater and watching the scene play out on the screen, but you are the actor in the movie on the screen, living that experience and actually carrying out the experience. So make it real in that way. A lot of people will tell you do first person perspective. You can do what you want, play around with it, but I would say the safest bet is definitely to do first person. If you have trouble when you're imagining getting into that first person perspective, it's really nice to start off with, first of all, just doing a little meditation, getting really centered within yourself, and then just becoming aware of your body, of your physical body, of your energy. And then you can kind of pull up your mental body, your physical body in your mental body, and you can like raise your hands, look at your fingers, count your toes, wiggle your limbs, but you're not actually doing it in physical reality, you're doing it in your mind, but you're looking at it from the perspective that you would be were you awake or were you conscious with your eyes open. So play around with that a little bit. It doesn't have to have anything to do with your imaginal act. Just getting familiar with the perspective of seeing your future experience in your mind's eye as though you were actually there. So what would it look like if my eyes were actually open? How can you make the experience more vivid, not necessarily more complicated, but just to feel more immersed in the experience? So main two things to remember is that your scene needs to imply fulfillment, that whatever it is has already happened, and it needs to imply that this is happening to you, for you. So safest bet is just to get familiar doing it in first person perspective. If it feels weird now, with repetition, with practice, it will begin to feel more natural. Another piece of advice that Neville gives is to keep your imaginal act short. So just one scene, and this also really helps if you're still struggling to maintain your attention. You don't want to have a scene where you're going here and then this is the next scene, and then after this happens, something else happens, and then after that, then finally you've gotten to your full desire and you have to replay that long scene over and over again. Because when you make a scene that long and that extensive, one, it takes longer to impress, you have a lot more things to remember, and two, it just gives more opportunity for your attention to wander. So just remember that you don't have to fill in the blanks. Everything that happens prior to your wish being fulfilled is really none of your business. Really, it is the job of infinite intelligence to fill in whatever happens in the middle. You are the beginning, which is I desire this, and you are the end, which is I have my desire. So anything in between doesn't really matter. So if you can just stick to a very short, concise, imaginal act and just loop that over and over again until you fall to sleep, then that will help you sustain your attention and it will help your subconscious mind be impressed even more quickly. But if you have practice sustaining your attention and you like to meditate and visualizing really just feels good to you and you want to go deeper in depth in your imaginal act, please do so. From my interpretation, the only reason Neville gives this advice is because longer imaginal acts are just more opportunity for your mind to wander. So if you have that trust within yourself and a level of accountability to know I'm sticking in my scene, I'm not going to think about what I need to get at the grocery store, what's going to happen tomorrow, or I still have to pay this bill, then do whatever you want. But just make sure you are sustaining your attention on the imaginal act and taking that into sleep with you. You don't want to let your attention wander as you're going into sleep, because then you've defeated the purpose of doing the SATS, which is being in that state akin to sleep and impressing the subconscious mind as you're falling asleep. Neville also says that the idea needs to be sustained with minimal effort. And Vadim Zealand also talks about this a lot in reality transurfing as excess potential or excess importance, when you're putting so much force on this outcome to where it doesn't feel natural anymore. It feels like you're really trying to make something happen. That's when the conscious mind starts to get in the way of the subconscious mind, and you're really not relaxed if you are in a state of trying to control and manipulate something. So that's why SATS is recommended, because if you're sleepy and if you're drowsy, you're gonna be a lot more passive, you're gonna be a lot more susceptible to whatever you're hearing or whatever you're seeing. So if you find throughout the day you're putting a lot of attention on, oh, I need to remember to affirm, or I need to do a quick imaginal act, or I haven't been thinking in alignment with my desire, I need to do this for this amount of time and get back on track. If you're putting that much strain and you're being like really militant about it, sometimes you need that level of discipline to get your mind on track, but also sometimes you just need to relax. Sometimes you just need to relax and allow yourself to have that experience. And then once you have the feeling of that experience, then you can carry that with you throughout the day, and you don't have to worry so much about finding the time or making the effort to do 50,000 methods. So SATS is a really good method because it's inevitable. Eventually you're gonna go to sleep and you're gonna wake up. So you have those 2 times of prime real estate, prime time for you to impress your subconscious mind. So whether or not you choose to use SATS consciously or not before you fall asleep, you don't want to be falling asleep with negativity on your mind or worrying about the day. That's why Neville also talked a lot about revising your day every day and seeing your day, playing it back from a perspective that you would have wanted to see it if something that you didn't like happened throughout the day. Because as you're going to sleep, your brain is taking in and processing all that information from the day. And if you're thinking about something that's worrying you and you have attached a high level of importance to it, your brain is gonna put a little tick on that, and it's gonna start going through that and integrating that, building new neural pathways to make you more aware of things that pop up subsequently that are similar to that experience when you wake up. So if you go to sleep in a negative state or thinking a negative thought, chances are you're gonna wake up in the same state, view your reality, and you're gonna put on the sunglasses of, I'm in a state today, and then you're gonna go out into your reality and play out that story. So regardless of if you're doing an actual imaginative act, thinking nice thoughts or going to sleep in a good feeling is optimal. So that's really all you need to know about SATS in a 3-step process. Choose what you want, create a short scene that implies that it's happening right now or it already happened, and repeat it until you fall asleep. And the same can be said for in the morning. So when you're waking up, when you're still not fully conscious, not fully here yet, you can play that scene in the same way and kind of prime yourself to wake up into that reality. So let's talk about what to do if you have trouble visualizing or if you have trouble sustaining your attention, even for that long, even if it's short, you find yourself not being able to loop it until you fall asleep. So this is where the lullaby method comes in. So in order to do the lullaby method, all you need to do is do whatever it is that you do that gets you into the state. So if you like to affirm, if you want to script before you go to bed, if you want to listen to an affirmation tape, whatever it is, assume that state to the best of your ability. And then you are just going to repeat a short phrase that implies that it's done. It can literally be, it's done. Or you can go my favorite route, which is the gratitude route, and you can just say thank you, thank you, thank you. Feeling that feeling that it's done, the relief that it's done, the satisfaction that it's done, over and over again until you fall asleep. This is also a good time to use isn't it wonderful, or isn't it amazing, or isn't this so great? Whatever implies to you that it's done and is short enough for you to be like, okay, I can repeat this over and over again. It is good enough, I promise. It's just about what it implies to you. But please do note, when you're doing this, it's less like robotic affirmations and more like a mantra. You're intentionally putting a feeling behind it. You're intentionally attaching it to a state, and it should be implying something to you. You're not just saying it over and over for no reason. You're saying it over and over again to maintain that feeling while you're falling asleep. And it's only for that short period of time. So while you're doing SATS, while you're falling asleep, or while you're waking up. But that's literally it. So pretty much just ask yourself how it would feel if it were done. Feel that feeling, and then just assume that it is done and say thank you. Thank you. Or isn't this so amazing? Isn't that crazy how fast this happened? Oh my God, it's done. Oh my God, it's done. Oh my God, it's done. I'm gonna wake up in the morning and it's gonna be done. I can't believe I woke up and it was done. I can't believe I woke up and it was done. Whatever you wanna say, that implies that it's done. Just like everything else, SATS is enough in itself for you to get your manifestation. Do you have to do SATS in order to get your manifestation? No. But like I said, you have that prime time anyway. It's already available to you. It happens every day when you go to sleep and when you wake up. So why not use that time to your benefit? And that's pretty much it. It's pretty simple. It's literally like taking candy from a baby. If nothing else, work on being more conscious of the thoughts you're thinking and the feelings that you're going to sleep with. Like, don't go to sleep pissed. Don't go to sleep having an inner argument with your SP in your head. Use this method instead and go to sleep rest assured that when you wake up, it'll be done. All right, you guys, that's gonna do it for me today. I really hope you all enjoyed and got something of value from this video. Please be sure to leave your questions, comments, concerns in the comment box below, and check out the description for my social media links, services, all that good stuff is down below. And other than that, I love you all so much. Thank you for being here, and I will see you next time. Bye.